Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. My name is Brandon, and welcome to this Free State Colorado video. Today, I'm joined by Natalie Menton, one of Colorado's liberty leaders, advocates for the rights of the citizens, and for our petition process. Well, Natalie, I hope you are well, and thank you for joining me today.
I am doing very well, thank you. And I'm happy to be here and talk about one of my favorite things, which is the right of citizens to have direct ballot access and put something on the ballot because you can't depend on elected politicians to do it all. So, yeah, titled it, this one is Enemies of the People's Voice. And I really are people's voice. Yeah, we get a vote, but the most success we've had is in our initiatives. We put the people directly on the ballot. Usually, those are the ones that like oversee the government and keep them under control. And for obvious reason, the government sometimes is not always inclined to, put that self control on themselves. So we have seen them attack our right to petition, and there's something that recently come up, but this has been a longstanding thing, and that's why they're a little slide there of the government. It's a citizen initiative petitioner with the government's hand over their mouth, basically saying, "Shut up! You don't know. We have the right to tell you what to do." Story ends there, and that's not the way it should be. So let's go into it. And what is bringing this up for immediate conversation right now, and this will be going on, so this video is more about petition rights than really TABOR. But in the Colorado Constitution, voters, thanks to initiative in 1992, actually a couple of years prior to that, went out for about 3 years getting signatures to put a tax and expenditure limitation in our Colorado Constitution, fondly known as the Taxpayer's Bill of Rights, shorthand TABOR. And just popped up here in Colorado that there's a group of the Colorado Democrats who want to overturn our citizen initiative that we put on our Constitution over 30 years ago. And it's really just, I don't know what's better way to put it. It's really like spitting in our face, because what they're going to do is take the voter will, the voter signatures, the voter approval, all those things, say that doesn't matter. You don't have the right to tell us what to do. And you're tying our hands in a representative government. And because of that, it's unconstitutional. And they're going to use our taxpayer money to file a lawsuit to try and overturn our Taxpayers' Bill of Rights, TABOR. And there have been previous challenges over the 30 plus years, but at least there was the consideration, let's say, for other people to use their money to try to attack our TABOR. What's recently come up is now the government will be using our taxpayer money to overturn voters' will. Now, why is that so dangerous? Right now, their keen focus, I think maybe in some worlds they call it target fixation. It's actually a very, very dangerous thing to do when you're flying an aircraft, is my understanding. But it makes you so focused on doing one thing, which in their case is to get rid of TABOR entirely, that they have lost focus of what other harm they will be putting on the voters and constituents and the residents and citizens of Colorado, because really what they're going after is our right to petition, to regulate government. I'm going to go through some examples here. And this real quick is the slide that I'm talking about. I should have done that. The one I'm talking about here on the short-term basis is this thing to overturn TABOR, which is going to probably go some years. House Joint Resolution 25-1023. And it's really, I put it as sponsored by tyrants in suits. It's authoritarians, tyrants, who do not want to let us have tax and expenditure limits in Colorado and use our money to overturn it. You can see the line of some of the Democrat sponsors on the bill. And I don't want to focus on this too much. Do you have anything on this, or just the general before I go into some of these things that voters put in? I mean, we think about all the different things, public policy that voters put into their protections, their laws, their constitution. You deal in so many other policy things, Brandon. Do you have some thoughts on that and that change in power?
Just the idea that the most democratic form of government there is where the people directly decide for themselves, right? The people got petition signatures, the people voted. It was outside of the control of the General Assembly, of the state legislature, of the governor to get the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights on the ballot, to get it passed, to amend the state constitution to give us these protections against the government, against the governor, against the General Assembly, who wants to attack our rights and take away our money. So it's as anti-democratic as it gets with this one, folks. This resolution we're seeing this year, House Joint Resolution 1023, is all about subverting the will of the people. It's a total authoritarian push to take away our rights as individuals, as voters, to make our own decisions and say, no, us here, us politicians, these tyrants in suits, as you say, have a better idea about how society should be run, and we do not respect the will of the people in their decisions they made. I mean, it is absolutely tyrannical, and they know they can't win at the ballot box because Tabor is so popular. They know they can't get it on the ballot to try and repeal Tabor that way. So they have to use lawsuits. They have to use these tricky little ways to try and subvert it. And it's absolutely reprehensible. And this should be a wake up call for the people of Colorado that these people do not represent the people. They represent the government itself and all the special interests associated who want to steal more of your money.
Yeah, that's it. So here's um, just jumping to sticking with this because their argument here, even though I'm talking about this current bill again, this is like a long range video. I mean, this is just a fundamental thing we're talking about. Um, these Democrats, ones who have sponsored on this bill to initiate the lawsuit, their claim about why this is unconstitutional, why Tabor is unconstitutional, is that it removes fundamental legislative authority and power in matters of revenue and expenditure from the institutions of representative democracy, namely the General Assembly, and even mentions that this is now subjecting the people to a plebiscite. And I hope I'm using that correctly because honestly, I don't actually get into using terms like that to try and subvert the will. So what they're also saying here is that Tabor, Taxpayers' Bill of Rights, which is Section 20 of Article 10, has removed necessary and essential powers of its representative institutions and so deprives the state of a Republican form of government. That is their claim. The bill that's going to initiate this lawsuit has some other things in it, but that's the general gist of the legal claim. Now, note, we put this in our Colorado Constitution. And they tried to run this through the federal court the first time they challenged it, again, not using public money, at least that time. Went through the federal court, and after 10 plus years, they finally stopped on the challenge. They got it. They finally got it. Now they come back and say, oh, this time we're going to go through state court. And part of the reason is because we don't have the best judges in Colorado who protect Tabor. So they're hoping they're going to run into some weak judges who want to happily maybe misconstrue what's in Tabor, which the language is very, very clear, and wrap it in this bizarre explanation of why the government can get away with it, what it wants, basically in this case, to overturn Tabor. And just going to this, the use of the terms that they're talking about here is they're basically arguing that we should not be people who are able to decide directly. And when we think about that, how insulting is that? That we have legislators, supposedly elected representatives, who, in general principle, don't want the people to decide directly. What they would rather do, because this is what they get away with, and this is why Colorado's in the position it's at, is that whoever has the most money and whoever sends out the biggest, glossiest flyers with the prettiest pictures, they're the ones that are going to get the vote. And then the voters pretty much at that stage, after they mark the ballot, most of those people are going to not keep an eye at all on what those people that they just voted for are doing to them. And they're doing it down to the Capitol, and they're doing it between 7 in the morning till sometimes 7 o'clock at night or later. And they're screwing around with us. And that's because they know people don't take off time to go testify and go do things they want. So anyway, it's just horribly insulting. And then even when you tend to go down there, you don't always get their ear. So when they talk, I mean, they're basically saying we don't want the people decide directly, and that's just it's just it's incomprehensible about how out of touch they are in their power, and that they don't even understand that or any of these organizational charts, we, the public, are at the top. They actually are there to only protect our rights, not take them away from us. Anyway, let's move now. Okay, so the main thing here is, so they're going after TABOR, but what is going to be the other impact? If we look in Colorado, we are one of the states that gets the right to go out, get a whole bunch of signatures. It's not easy. It's not quick. It's expensive. Most people won't go stand in front of a grocery store 8 hours to get signatures. So we have still this right, though, to go out and for Colorado, get something on the ballot statewide, you're roughly having to go out and get 200,000 signatures. The numbers below that, but you always have to add a cushion. That puts you about 200,000. That's a lot. And they throw out a lot of signatures. People sign, you can't read it. You can't read this, and they'll use any excuse possible to throw a signature out. So over years, people have gone out, though, and did this hard thing of getting something on the ballot. And these are why the legislature doesn't know the can of worms they are opening. Maybe they do. Maybe, because if you look at these, look at each one of these ones I'm going to go through, see if these are things that the government would actually want to put in law versus would a citizen have to do it. So number one, we have Colorado Sunshine Laws. Colorado Sunshine Laws were started in 1972, requires financial disclosures from elected officials so we can see what other financial interests they have. It requires lobbyists, these people that are paid to go down to the Capitol each day of the week and require them to register with the state and file financial disclosures. How much are they getting paid to be down at the Capitol? And it requires, here's the one that most people really know about, Colorado Sunshine Laws require state lawmakers and agencies to hold open meetings. Now, let's ask ourselves, are these rules the government would want to voluntarily put on itself? I don't think so. So it takes citizen initiative, like something like this. We go to that, oh, I forgot the lightning strike I was supposed to see. We have these cool effects now, lightning. Anyway, all right, I'm supposed to remember, click, there, lightning. All right, then we've got another one. Again, ask ourselves, is this something that the government would want to voluntarily put on itself? Campaign finance reform, Amendment 27, Citizen Edition from 2002. Places limits on contributions and political campaigns and requires disclosure. So many voters don't like dark money. They want to know who's paying for what and who's doing that. Campaign finance reform, although with its certain flaws, it definitely opened up transparency in campaign finance. It's a pain to deal with. That's the one thing, I guess. And what's the irony is, actually, even though they put this in, again, people found a little way to work around it. So there still ends up being dark money, but that's a whole nother presentation. Again, citizen initiative, though. The government wouldn't have done this. Here's one that even the people who don't like TABOR. Hey, folks, stated the Amendment 23, creating additional funding for schools, increased per pupil funding for K through 12 education at inflation plus 1%. And there was a whole bunch of financial other stuff with that, but I just boiled it down to the summary. Again, citizen initiative in year 2000. Term limits, I'm going to remember to click. Big one here. Term limits. What elected people would want their terms to be limited? Look at Congress. We have people that got there and they were what? Like barely out of college. And now they look like, I mean, they're in a wheelchair. They've been there that long. Okay. I don't mean to just, a wheelchair. I'm simply saying they've been in there for decades. So in Colorado, we have term limits. It's an 8-year term. And if you're state representative, that means you, for a 2-year term, you get to run you can serve 4 times. If you're a state senator here in Colorado, the 4-year term, you get to serve twice. It even applies term limits to local. And so, again, Citizen Initiative 1990, called Amendment 5, term limits. These are the things and reasons why, just as some examples, our right to citizen initiative is so precious in Colorado. Maybe roughly half the states in the United States have their right to initiative. And Colorado is one of the ones where we really fought to keep our rights. They've tried to strike it down in so many ways, so many court challenges, largely overturned because they were unconstitutional. But they continue. And if this suit going through here in year, it's just going to go on so long, in year 2025, when TABOR is being challenged, because it's going to go some years probably if we don't kill it, the bill to start the lawsuit. We've got a lot of reasons, let's say, to kill this and not even open up this can of worms. There's so much in danger if we lose our right to initiative and, in generally speaking, oversee government's function. Because that's what they're trying to argue is you don't have the right to put these rules on us. And that's just an assault on us. So just as a reminder here, because we're used to talk about our U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights, in our own Colorado Constitution, very clear. I'll skip to the part of the vestment of political power, Section 1. Section 1 is the very first one. Vestment of political power. All political power is vested in and derived from the people. All government of right originates from the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. That pretty much says that who's on top of the organizational chart here. It didn't start off with Section 1. Government gets to tell you always what to do, and you don't get to put any rules on them. That's not what Section 1 is. Section 1 is our power. Article 2 of the Bill of Rights. I love it. People may alter or abolish form of government. People of the state have the sole and exclusive right of governing themselves as a free, sovereign, and independent state, and to alter and abolish their constitution. And I got a little bit choked up there. Sorry. But that is so powerful. To abolish their constitution and form of government whenever they may deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such change be not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. Now, these people, these Democrats that are challenging our right to initiative, essentially, are trying to say that somehow our will here in Colorado as a sovereign state is to be overturned by some misconception that they think we don't have the right to direct initiative. I was going to an event last night. I wanted to print out these 2 pages I just had because they truly are so powerful. When people say, read the Bill of Rights, read the Bill of Rights, they're saying something. I mean, this was the founders knowing what we needed to do to protect ourselves. And it has been perverted and stepped upon and spit upon by the people down at the Capitol. And so we have going now to, I know I'm going on, but Section 1, I'm going to move here. All right, Article 5 of our Constitution, power against state constitution, initiative or referendum. Legislative power of state shall be vested in the General Assembly and Senate and House of Representatives, giving us the power, but the people reserve to themselves the power to propose laws and amendments to the Constitution and to enact or reject the same at the polls, independent of the General Assembly. And it's how many times do I have to say it? We say it. We have the power. Them and there's tyrant power suits down there and whatnot. It's us showing up. If it's blue jeans, work boots, your coat that might have a tatter, it doesn't matter. We're the ones in charge down there. That's the way it's supposed to be. So with that, what do you know? I got to the last slide. I pretty much shut you out of saying much there, Brandon. What do you got to say?
Oh, great stuff, Natalie. Really appreciate it. It is powerful, and it's a good reminder. The power is vested with the people. We have the power. These politicians need to be put in check. These politicians do not rule over us. They are supposed to represent us, supposed to preserve our rights, but our rights come first. Our freedom comes first. And it's up to us to decide what the government does. And that's why this latest attempt by the most extreme state legislative body in our state's history, as far as I can tell, at least,
I agree. Go ahead.
To subvert the will of the people, to take away our rights, to alter our own form of government. It's totally it's anti-democratic, it's anti-constitutional, and it's anti just the very nature of our system here. It's anti-Western liberal democracy at the very core. And these people should be shamed. These people should be driven out of Colorado. And I hate to use any stronger words than that, but it is absolutely a perversion of their power to think that they can overrule the will of the people and say that their rights are their ability to take our money is more valuable than our right as people to constrain their ability to do so.
Yeah. So we're going to see as this again, we're talking about here in a window of time where TABOR, one of the most precious things we've got, I mean, we've got other, but it was just one of our greatest, is being challenged right now, and opening up this really big problem of saying if people don't have that power, we can just overturn what we've got, the Constitution, and then use our money, our taxpayer money, to present the legal challenges. I mean, we've got the government, basically the plaintiff in the case against we, the taxpayers. Just truly, truly disturbing. So there is much more at stake than just the taxpayers' Bill of Rights, but it's certainly something that gets a lot of people um, motivated to get involved. And I would encourage, if you're really interested in helping change our initiative and referendum process to strengthen it, I would actually ask if you can comment in Brandon's threads, whatever platform you're on, and just note that maybe in the future, as we look to maybe strengthen some of these things, ensure the government can't get away with overturning these things. It'll take a big movement in Colorado, but I think there's a lot of interest in that from parties, all parties, because of the government overreach, whether views vary here or there. The general theme of who is in charge is important to many.
100%. Yeah, definitely. One of the goals of Free State Colorado is to improve and strengthen our petition ability here, and definitely looking forward to building. And we're going to win, people. It's going to take a while, but get motivated. You're not alone out there. There's so many of us that believe in freedom. We're more organized and connected than ever. And let's get involved, show up, pay attention, get this information out there to your neighbors, your coworkers. The word of mouth is so important, and we're going to do this. We're going to win. We're going to push back against these authoritarians and take our state back.
Sounds to me like a real good plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Natalie. I really appreciate your time. Appreciate this presentation. It's good stuff, very powerful stuff. And yeah, let's we got our work ahead of us.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Brandon.
All right, take care.